Right, so we're on our Rover 75 1.8 2001 maroon car, and I thought I'd do this little video as we're hopefully going to improve, or I suppose upgrade, the air intake system. The air intake system comes, well, the air goes into the manifold, but before it gets there it goes through the filter box, and before it gets to the filter box there's a pipe that comes down there and goes round and up into the wheel arch, and I think from memory it ends up around here somewhere, and it's basically kind of like a sort of a materially plastic pipe. And on our other 75 we found that it almost begun to start to rot. We managed to do a temporary repair on that, but looking at this one sneaking through, it looks like it's almost completely rotted away by the looks of things. So we're going to take this plastic cover wheel arch off first so we can get to it, and what we've done is bought a sort of a standard or generic air intake pipe you can buy from the internet, and hopefully we can use that to replace that pipe and put it back exactly as it should be, and being this part's plastic it shouldn't rot away. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. The first thing is to remove this plastic wheel liner. So the fixings are a mixture on this plastic wheel liner. It's a mixture of metal Phillips screws. You've got some of those plastic fixings. There's a little bolt up here, and also down here you've got this little protector guard for the seal almost, and that's 3 Phillips screws. So it's a case of finding those fixings, removing it, and then just pulling the wheel liner down. Right, so also going to remove that little inspection hatch, which on the other side gives you access to, or easier access to, the bonnet cable if it's fouled. And if you'd like to see that video, it's well worth looking back at our collection of videos. On this side, it's letting you see the first part of that air ducting part, which still looks intact, but we think lower down it's far from intact. But yeah, that gives you a first early look, and we're continuing to undo the bolts. We're going to be doing this little one next so we can get the plastic wheel liner arch down. We've got that one, and then just a few more of these little plastic screws that are dotted around. That one we've already got out, and then hopefully we can remove it. So the other thing that you'll have to remove or unplug is the little ABS wire that goes down to the sensor, and it goes through the plastic wheel arch. And if I come up to the top here, you'll see that little blue plug. What we do is unplug that and then push that wire through the plastic wheel liner, and then we can remove it without affecting that wiring. Right, so with these little plastic screws, you are supposed to be able to undo the screw that comes out and then gently pull the plastic bit out that the screw goes into, but the problem is that very rarely works. So we find you normally have to lever them out, and that it is worth actually having some of these spare, because they often do break because they've been in there potentially the life of the car if the wheel arch has never been removed. So yeah, it's well worth having some of those as spares as well. Right, so there's also a little screw just under there at the front, and if I come over towards the back of the car on this seal, there was also a little screw under there as well. It is a case really of going round and just find them. Although we've done these before, it's quite easy to forget. There's another one just there as well. So there's quite a few fixes that you have to go round, get them off just to get this liner out, but it does make things a lot easier once it's removed for a lot of jobs. So this is quite a useful thing to be able to do. Yeah, so as you can see, it's a little bit of a struggle. It's a case of just pulling it, teasing it down, and then it should have finally just drop out. We're just going to now pull that sensor wire through the plastic wheel arch liner so we can then finally get it out. And as I showed you before, it's just like a little grommet, and it also clips into that wheel arch liner as well. So more or less out, we just get it down and out the way. Right, so now we've got the wheel arch liner out, we can actually get a good look at this air intake hose, and you can see that here is how it should look, almost like this sort of material, but down here it's completely completely rotted away and the wireframe's rusted away. So that's what we're hopefully going to do. This generic hose is replace it so it can come out of this intake here and then go all the way up to here where it takes the air in. So yeah, much worse than on our other 75, but looking online, it looks like this is quite a common thing. These pipes do rot out, so hopefully our replacement will last a little bit longer. Right, so we've got the pipe out, and basically you can see there's a little slot here, and that hooks down onto a metal bracket. And if I come up here into the wheel arch, you'll see there is like the little metal bracket, so it sort of drops down and slots onto the metal bracket. So all we need to do is lift it up and off of that metal bracket, down and away, and that's revealed the space, and we can now see the pipe that it clips onto as well. So hopefully our replacement hose will do exactly what that hose does. Right, so now we've got a lot more space. What we do is have a little clean up around this wheel arch, and we'll treat that surface rust with some rust killer, and we're going to be painting that as well, because a lot of these jobs we're doing at the moment you're going to see on the channel related to this car, which will be in this car's playlist, is all the things we do as we take one of these cars on, if we can possibly do. So we'll do all that, and then we'll be able to put this air duct pipe back as it should be. Before we put this wheel arch liner away while we're doing that job, I thought we'd better mark it just to make it quicker, although you would be able to work it out. We don't want to be fiddling about trying to work out which is the left and right hand when we put them back, because we've got both off, but actually it is actually marked that it's the left hand one, so we don't even need to do that. Right, so I just thought I'd give you a look at the air intake pipe we've bought. As I say, it is a generic air intake pipe. I think it's one that's sold for people putting in a turbo air intake pipe or modifying it, which we're not really doing, but we thought, looking online, it looked the ideal thing to replace it. Here is what's left of the old part of the air intake pipe, pretty rusted away, but we've still got this end here which hopefully we can use, and that will allow us to fix the pipe back up. If I get the pipe out of the box, this is the pipe that we've got. So it's a plastic pipe, so hopefully it won't rot away like this material pipe, and it's quite flexible, and concertina's out, so we should be able to make it fit any shape we want. And looking at the ends, it's not too much different, so hopefully it's going to make the right fit and will be the right length for what we want as well. Right, so we've removed this end, which has got the fixing point on it, from that what's left of the original tubing. Looks like originally it's screwed in, but where it was so sort of rusty and broken up, we've kind of just levered it off and it's come away. And if we can use this, it means we can use that original fixing point. The good thing is that it must be a fairly standard sort of size, because that tube is more or less going to fit that. We've got to make sure it's obviously a bit tighter than that. The other thing we've got to watch out for is any water build up in this tube. We think that might be why that material was kind of like a material, so any water would seep out. I think from what I remember with the other one, there was a teeny little drain in it, but I think there is a drain in the air filter box anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem. We'll keep an eye on that just in case. We probably won't need these at ends, so we can keep them for something else. We just have to see how it fits if we do end up using those. So what we're going to do is remove the lid of the air filter and give that a blow through and a clean through in case any dirt and dust has got in there. To remove that, it's the 2 screws at the top, and then there's these little hinges there that you kind of just hook out, and then what we've done is just pulled this away from that intake, so when you remove it away, that can come right out the way, and we can just sit it over here nice and clear out the way. Remove the old air filter, which we'll change with a new one as part of doing this job, and then we'll blow it through and get any of the dirt out. And actually, as you can see looking at this, there's no real way any water could ever get into the system because that pipe's right down there, and it'd have to come all the way up to here, and then at this point there are 2 drain holes there, and it would technically have to be sucked up through this filter, which I suppose it could do, but it's very unlikely. So we will keep an eye on it, but it looks like there's no way any water could get there, because even if it built up in that pipe, it'd flood here and come out of those drain holes there, so that shouldn't be a problem. What we're going to do now is just blow out all this debris and dust and blow through there to get any dirt and dust out as well. So yeah, hopefully that's blown through all that dust and dirt that was in there. Not lots, but you can see little bits coming out, so it was worth doing, we think. Right, so what we've done, we have fixed this ending. We've decided to remove these Jubilee clips. So one idea was to perhaps slightly tighten these to clamp it on, because it more or less was a perfect fit. We didn't want it falling off. What we have decided to do is use the proper duct tape. We've used a good branded duct tape, and just put that over so it can't just fall off, and it does make that definite airtight seal, and that way it allows us to use this bracket to fix it up to the top and more or less keep it as original as possible, but with a brand newly renewed pipe. And that's what we do here. We thread all that on and just put a small amount of duct tape there. That should hardly need any at all, just to make sure it doesn't come off. Put a little bit more this end because technically the weight of the pipe is on that fitting. We've now got the plastic air ducting onto the plastic part that goes up to the air box, and again it was more or less a tight fit. We've just used a small piece of duct tape just to seal it to make sure it can't come off. What I have found is there is a little drain here, almost like a one-way valve, so if any water did build up in this pipe, it would drain out there. And as we said, there's drains up in the filter box as well, so that's one good fun. I've just got to tidy up here a little bit more and wipe down any of these dirty surfaces as we clean up around here as well. Right, so we're putting the new air filter in now. It's actually an MG Rover one from Rimmer Brothers, which normally we wouldn't get, but we wanted to make up an order, and they do a service kit. Quite a nice air filter, although not that much different to any other in a lot of looks, but we thought we'd use that service kit, and we're doing that amongst the other work. All we've got to do now is put back on the top of the air cleaner to seal that up. If we come down to here, we can now see the pipe all fitted and finished, and we've gone really from this pipe down here all rotten and broken up to this modification repair here, so we're certainly pleased with it. Hopefully it's been a useful video to you. Don't forget to look back at all the other videos we do. They're all there in the playlist on this car. All we've got to do now is put the wheel arch liner back. We're not going to, because we're doing some other jobs, and as I said, hopefully you'll be seeing those in the series of videos with this car, all the different little jobs and bits we're doing. But for now, that one is a finished job.